Hi, Sean McCracken and Trevor Simpson once again here from the last full day of HITEC 2023, along with really the only full day of the Revenue Optimization Conference, which is part of HSMAI's marketing strategy. No, commercial strategy week. It's a mouthful. So Trevor, another day here in Toronto. What are you hearing? What are your big takeaways from the day?
So I did sit in on a couple of the rock panels to end my day, and both of them were heavily geared toward the meshing of the three disciplines of revenue management, sales, and marketing all coming together and working as one team toward a singular goal. And I heard a lot about what it takes to be a good commercial strategist to bring the three together. And you don't necessarily have to be good at all three of those things to be a good commercial strategist. You have to be good at the intangible stuff. So that's being a good leader, being good at cultivating relationships, and maybe most importantly, being flexible to change. Because what all three of those fields look like today is a lot different than what it looked like 10 years ago. And 10 years from now, it's going to look a lot different than it does today. So they have to be flexible to change and be open to change. And something else I heard that I thought was interesting was that you hear often about those three spaces being lumped together, the revenue management, marketing, and sales. But I heard that also spaces like IT need to be in consideration when it comes to data cleanliness and stuff like that. So it's a little bit broader of an umbrella than maybe what it was first thought of as.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that revenue kind of bridges the gap between, data analytics and IT in a way that, sales and marketing might not, but also there's big components of analytics and marketing and a lot of other things.
Right.
I've heard some talk about that today too, and it is interesting. I heard one mention that obviously to make that the work of those three disciplines hum the way they're supposed to, you have to be a good collaborator and open to different, like looking at the world in a different way than other people. Because, revenue managers see things one way and marketing people will see it a different way. They have different functions. They're just fundamentally different people in a lot of ways. So
well, that's another thing. They said that it might, or I'm saying they said, some people said today.
People say
that it might not be that bad of an idea to start with new employees who maybe are starting in one facet and expose them to all three of them so that they're well versed in all three as they grow in the field. Because right now, most people are just experts in one and don't know much about the other.
Yeah, and you don't want to get too specialized and too niche at any point in your career. I mean, even when you say like revenue management's different at a select service small hotel versus a large full service hotel. So getting more diversity in your background and more professional experience is obviously a useful thing.
Doesn't hurt.
So I think my big takeaway from today is that people really like to talk about AI, which is shocking at a tech conference. I heard a lot about the pros and the cons. I mean, I feel like there's a really palpable sense of excitement about what it could mean down the road. And I mean, there's obviously applications for it today, specifically about, the generative AI stuff. But I do hear like a lot of people questioning just in the short term, like there's so much buzz around it, but is it really as big of a deal as people want it to be or believe it to be? And I mean, it's going to be one of those things where it'll be big. People hype it up to the point where no amount of adoption of it will be like live up to that hype. And then eventually it'll get digested into the ecosystem of how people use technology.
Right.
But I mean, I think some people right now are worried, like, is this just the next generation of chatbots? Which, like, great, that's useful for streamlining customer service, but, like, that's not going to redefine the industry.
Right.
There was some talk about HITEC about using it more of as a productivity tool, which is an interesting short-term use of it. Like, a lot of just running ideation through Chat GPT and the like, and just having it give it very specific prompts, and it'll give you suggestions on roads you can go down, which is useful for anyone in their professional life, I suppose.
Yeah, I heard that a lot as well, where it could have some applications, but there has to be a human who's actually analyzing what the AI is telling you, or what the chatbot is telling you.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing about it in general, is you have to be not necessarily skeptical of what it's telling you, but you have to fact check it. You have to consider it against reality, because all it's doing is, not trolling, but like it's just grabbing as much information as it can and guessing what you want to hear, right? So then you have to put that through a critical lens and say, well, is this what I want? And at the same time, you do have to be skeptical about what it's putting out into the universe about you, because a lot of people say, like, that content that it pushes out, if somebody says, tell me about X hotel, like, there's no guarantee that that's accurate too, which is a frustrating thing for hoteliers who have no power on how to fix that.
Right.
The other thing I heard a lot about today is people having issues getting to Toronto, or just the conference in general, which makes me feel better about our conversation yesterday. Like, more and more people telling me that they had a really hard time getting in, or hearing about people who just couldn't get in general.
Yeah.
Nothing to add there, Trevor.
Well, yeah, I heard that too. I have my sources.
It is funny to me. I talked to somebody else who also came in from Cleveland and was on that same flight I was supposed to be on Monday, and was like, yeah, I just drove after that. And it's like, yes, that's what I should have done.
Yeah. I don't think I ever considered how far is the drive from Cleveland?
So I think if you run it through Google Maps, it says 4.5 hours. That's obviously dependent on how, traffic and how quickly you drive.
Yeah.
For me personally, and I realized after the fact that it would have been a really pleasant drive for me, because I start in Cleveland, drive through Erie, which is where I grew up, so I could stop and get my favorite donuts in the entire world. By the time I hit Buffalo, it'd be lunchtime, so I could get some wings, and then the rest of the way to Toronto, like, that's an ideal day for me.
Yeah, that sounds nice for you. It sounds like 4.5 hours to me, but
well, it would have been significantly faster than what I ended up doing that day, which is sitting around for more than 24 hours waiting to get on a plane. So,
well, if I got to the airport 2 minutes after I did yesterday, then I would have been doing it. Yeah,
you would have ended up driving to Toronto. All right, Trevor, any other interesting takeaways just in general? Any impressions from Toronto today other than bad air quality and going to see the Blue Jays in a minute?
Yeah, excited to check out the Rogers Center.
Dome is closed, though, because of the smog, which is a bummer.
It is a bummer. Yeah, I like a good outdoor baseball game. I don't need to get into this, but I do think that is one thing that baseball needs to do. Why are there still rain delays? I think every team should have a dome.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going in a different direction with this. I thought you were going to say it should be like
play
football and they just play through the elements. So every team should have a dome. This is the Trevor Simpson hot take of the day.
Not like a permanent dome, but every team should have a retractable roof so that we're not dealing with rain delays in the year of 2023.
Retractable roofs are really expensive, and you know who pays for these, right?
Oh, I'm sure it's the owner.
Do you want to pay the taxes in Cleveland to turn Progressive Field into a retractable dome?
Yeah, I'm all right with some rain delays.
Yeah. I've sat through enough rainy days in Cleveland waiting for a game to happen. Like, it would be nice, but I don't want to foot that bill.
Yeah. But conference was great. Enjoyed my first full conference here in Toronto. Got to meet some new people, which is always a nice thing. And yeah, had a good time.
All right. Well, so signing off from Wednesday in Toronto, it's Sean McCracken and Trevor Simpson. Stay tuned to hotelnewsnow.com for more.